Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Our first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I know I say this every year, but it's nice to hear a whole room of people say the pledge rather than just the 7 or 8 of us. So. The mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success. Our next item is approval of agenda. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or changes on the agenda? Not, I'll call for the vote. I got Aaron in there. How do I take him out? Emily, I got Aaron in there. How do I take him out?
You log out. Is he logged in?
No, but I got him as being here. Be patient, a little technical difficulties.
He is not going to make it.
Okay. Yep, thanks. Agenda is approved. Our next item is a public forum. Is there anybody from the public who would like to address the board?
They would all love to, but.
Yes. We'll give them their time here in a second. So. Welcome to our new Marshall Public School teachers, Amanda.
This is not a bloodletting, so it'll be okay, you guys.
Good afternoon. Beth Ritter and myself were able to work with our new teachers about 2 weeks ago now. We have 28 brand new teachers to the district. If you count the number of teachers who actually moved positions within the district, we had 47 teachers who are receiving mentor services this year. So we have a big group, which is fun. Getting to work with them those 3 days was fantastic. They were all delightful. I think we've got a great bunch of people here at Marshall Public Schools this year, as always. And they are going to introduce themselves one at a time. I did put a sheet up here, guys, just in case you needed to be reminded. They'll give you their name, which building they work in, their position, and how many years they've been in education. And just a reminder, new teachers, we do want you to stay because the board would like to address you at the end. So we'll just start right here. Come on up.
If you want to start lining up on either end, that'd be great.
Either way.
Joseph's thinking, why did I sit in the front?
Hello, my name is Joseph Schmidt. I work in the middle school. I'm the 7th grade ag teacher and also 8th grade math teacher. I've been in education for 3 years in a couple of different roles.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's nice to be.
I'm Marissa Whitrock. I'm a school psychologist. I am district-wide. This is actually my 9th year with Marshall Public Schools, but I was just previously with the Service Club.
Thank you.
I'm Callie Riley. I work at Parkside. I'm doing the part-time school nurse position with Cindy Pfeiffer, and this is actually my first year in education. I'm coming from the clinic side of things, so.
Welcome, Kelly.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Bottleberg. I'm a speech and language pathologist. I'm going to be district-wide. I'm going to do the evaluations and then service the private schools. And this is my 5th year in education.
Welcome.
Jason Schuler. I work at Parkside in the early childhood special ed, and I have 4 years of experience teaching special ed.
Hi, my name is Corinne Cook. I'm going to be teaching at the high school. I'll be teaching language arts. This is going to be my 4th year in education. Previously, I was working in Minneota. I think I covered it. Hi, my name is Heather Parrington, and I work at Parkside in kindergarten as a kindergarten teacher. And this is my 11th year and within the district. And previously I was a kindergarten assistant with Sue Stroud, so this first year teaching.
Same room, new role.
Same room, ILC.
Right.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie Benson. I will be working at Southview in special ed with second, third, and fourth graders. And then how many years I've been in teaching? This will be my second year teaching. So, thank you.
My name is Samantha Vroman. I am at Southview. I am doing special education this year. I have 3 years experience teaching first grade.
Hi, I'm Emily Kern. I work at Maytech as the new school counselor. I've been with Marshall Public Schools for about 10 years through coaching, variety of roles, academic support, paraprofessional, and then the last 4 school years I was with Greater Minnesota as a mental health therapist working at Maytech. So been around for a while, but new role. So
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Shelby Thor. I work in the high school. I'm going to be a chemistry/physics teacher, and it is my second year in education.
Welcome.
Hi, Eric Novosad. I'm at the middle school. I'll be doing music, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then choir 7th and 8th. I have been at the district for 12 years now, doing marching band, doing beats, doing golf. I've also was at True Light Christian School for 7 years, and I owned the Sears store for about 6 years. So
He's one of our own kids, too.
Yeah.
I'm Leah Butel. I'll be at the middle school doing 7th and 8th grade art. First year in school setting for education. Otherwise, I had 3 years of extension education in Lyon County.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Laura Stiles. I'll be teaching 7th grade Family and Consumer Sciences, and this is my second year in education, and I'll be at the middle school. Sorry.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrea Grusendorf. I am a school counselor at the middle school. I've worked in education about 4 years, but I was previously in the role of a chemical health specialist, so this is my first year as a school counselor.
Jeanette Bosfeld. I'm back at Maytech this year. I've been asked to go back and teach one more year of language arts. I've been in the district for 13 years and in education for about 28. And I said I was doing language arts over at Maytech.
Hello, I'm Kayla Hankelman. I am in the middle school for special education. This is my first year teaching, but I was a paraprofessional for 2 years.
Hi, my name's Stephanie Kimpy. I'll be in Parkside for special education, and this is my first year.
Hello, I'm Chelsea Wade. I will be at Parkside and teaching preschool. And how many years? This is my 6th year. I've taught STEM and special ed prior, so this is my first year in preschool.
I'm Amber Shaffrin. I'll be at Early Childhood Special Ed. This is my first formal year teaching, but I had an in-home childcare for 10 years before this.
Hi, I am Larissa Smith. I will be doing birth to 2 special ed at Parkside. This will be the start of my 5th year in education after spending the last few years at MCC in Slayton.
Hi, I'm Courtney Basler. I am at the middle school doing 6th grade social studies, and this is my 3rd year of teaching.
Hi, my name is Danny Morris. I'm in the middle school doing 6th grade language arts, and this will be my 3rd year teaching.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Barbara Wendt, and I'll be doing 6th grade science here at the middle school. And this is my 18th, I think, year teaching, most recently from coming up from Worthington.
Well, on behalf of the entire board, I just want to thank each of you, first of all, for choosing the profession that you've chosen, because you know how hard it is for us or for Jeremy, for any principal to find people to work in education these days. So thank you for that. And also thank you for choosing Marshall Public Schools. You'll find it's a great place to work, a rewarding place to work, and you guys will have impact on kids every single day. I can tell you, my kindergarten teacher, I grew up in Central Illinois, my kindergarten teacher is 103 years old. She still lives at home by herself, and if I walked in her door today, she would know who I am, Mrs. Weekly. So especially you guys in the younger grades, they will remember your name for the rest of their lives. So I can name all of my teachers. So thank you for picking MPS. Do you guys have any other comments?
Welcome aboard. The dumb question is the one you don't ask. That's why we have a mentor program. We're here to help you be successful and put smiles on your kids' faces. I was principal here for 28 years, and one of the most important things I told staff is the most important thing you can do is know each child each day. Recognize each child each day. Give them a hug or a high five or whatever. And each of you knows the teachers who made a difference in your life, and it was that kind of teacher. So be that kind of teacher. And thank you for being here.
And you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but you don't have to.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
No one's going to take you up on that, Matt.
That's not.
That's a big crew.
Yes.
Our next item is a presentation from the crisis team.
So Amanda and Mary Kay are co-chairing the crisis team this year, so they've got a bit of information they want to come and share with you guys this evening.
I start, don't I? Well, like Mr. Williams said, Amanda and I are here this evening to review a few things that we've been doing on the crisis committee for the last several years, but we were talking about how long the crisis committee's been in place at Marshall Public Schools. And I think I've been here 16 years now. Amanda's at 99 already, so 22, 21, 23. Anyway, we believe that the crisis committee's been in place for at least 15 years, if not on the edge of 20. Do you know, Jeremy?
It's
right in there, but it's been in place and.
You were on the ground floor, weren't you,
I was,
Jeremy?
yeah.
With that? Didn't you chair it initially?
I chaired it a number of times, yep.
Yeah.
So for 22-23, we have a few things going on and a few different goals, but we wanted to give you the general information as to what occurs within the district, at the district level and at the building level and in each department, and what occurs throughout the year and some of the progress that we make. And sometimes it feels like we're kind of spinning our wheels, but it's really that we reevaluate what we're doing every year. We try to ensure that we're making improvements, or at least keeping up with all of the data and specifics as far as anything that we need to incorporate newly. So you'll see some of those things here. Are you clicking through? I'm not seeing a clicker down here. Oh, sorry. Thanks, Emily.
Just tell me if you want me to click.
Gotcha. So this first slide just talks about the number of areas that we address throughout the district. So I talked about the district committee, and we'll show you that here in a minute. But then there's also staff training that occurs throughout the district with all staff. That's not just teaching staff, that's paras, that's custodians, that's kitchen staff. Everybody gets a level of training. Safe Schools is included in that also, and we'll go through some of that in a bit. Each building level has a crisis team that's specific to their building also, and those are basically volunteers, but I think administration recruits from different areas of their building at every building. And then there's the student education piece. Amanda will talk about that in a little while. And then there's the practice and drills that we incorporate at each building so that it drills down to students, but primarily with staff so that they know what to do if there were an emergency. And then last but not least, we reevaluate every year and try to figure out what we need to do to plan, do, study, and act. So. This is the district committee. So lead principals at each one of the building is the incident command. So we've got Darcy, then we've got Peter Thor, Paula Walter Matson, and Brian Jones as far as those four go. And then Amanda Peterson, even though she's an assistant principal, she is kind of a lone dog at Maytech, so she takes that incident command there. Our SRO is involved. Emily, being the executive assistant, she will be involved. Building and grounds is involved. One nurse will fill that space as well. And then the co-chairs being at the bottom. So.
I just want to add that that nurse position is really important on that committee. They add a lot to the conversation, and they know a lot about medical emergencies, and nurses are always running through the hospitals. They have lots of drills, and so they just bring a lot to the table. So we're always glad to have a nurse on board. I don't think we know yet who it is going to be this year, but we will make them feel welcome because we really appreciate all the work that they do. But the District Crisis Committee meets every other month as a full committee. We like to meet on Thursdays before our admin meeting. And then every other month in small group committee work. You can click it, Emily. These are the areas that we will be focusing on this year for our small group committee work. The reunification plan. Our buildings have reunification plans, but that is an immense process to reunify parents with students if there were ever an emergency. So it is something that we are continually looking at. How can we make that process better? Are we ready to do a drill? Do our staff understand all the steps to it? So it's a big deal. So again, it's something that we have been talking about for a couple years and probably will continue to talk about until we feel very, very comfortable with that. Because again, we've done it small scale. Like there was a time when the buses came back in a snowstorm. That was really good practice. We got to go through all the different steps. And so that was just one time when it happens, but we'd hope that it doesn't happen, but we want to make sure that we're prepared if it does. The threat assessment plan, that is when we have students that teachers bring to us with concerns, this student isn't acting like other students his age should be. Should I be concerned? Here are some red flags that I see. So we have a threat assessment plan in place that we can use to kind of assess that student. But again, it's something that things are always changing. More research is being done on what to be looking for and what should we be doing as a school system. So again, it's just something that we want to keep updating and continuing to look at to make sure that we are as proactive as we can in those situations. And then the ALICE training for new staff. Actually, Mary Kay and I were just talking about this today. This year, we will be doing it in October for our new staff. It's a very important step that we want to make sure that we do not miss each year. And in fact, we do a second training for any additional new staff from October to March. So anyone who's come in on board in between that time window, we'll train them in March. Because again, that change when we used to just do lockdowns to now the ALICE procedure, it's a big difference. And so we just want to make sure that everybody understands it and that they're all prepared if ever something like that happened, which would be awful. But flip charts and plan updates, again, that's something that we have in place and we are just continually updating. And I do believe we're getting close with updating our flip chart to a new one. And for a lot of different reasons, but we need the new Tiger logo for sure. So it's not the only reason we're updating it, but it's a big one. So again, those are just the areas that our small group committee work will be doing. So everyone who's on our committee will be in either one or two of those small group committees.
These are other trainings, the safe school trainings that we do each year. There's usually 4 or 5 that all staff do. And then in addition to these, like our building and grounds has a couple more safe schools, but for all of our certified staff, and then I believe paras as well, they will do the bullying, the bloodborne pathogen, the exposure prevention, and then the mandatory reporting piece as well.
So for student education, so we've talked a little bit about what we do for our teachers. We need to also educate our students and make sure that they're prepared. And one of those pieces is making sure our parents or guardians understand what our process is too. And it's kind of age specific as well. So if we're going to do a lockdown at our elementaries, especially our pre-K 1 building, there's probably going to be a notification being sent home either by teachers or administration just saying, hey, we are going to try a lockdown drill today. We just want you to be prepared. Here's what it's going to sound like, look like, so if your child comes home that you can have that conversation with them. So again, we're really trying to be age specific, and that goes on to the next rectangle as well. K4 instruction and discussions look different than our 7-12, especially around our ALICE. So we have created, we didn't create it, I guess we purchased curriculum that's very specific on the language that you should use for that K4 to make it not as scary for them, but using terms like wolf and those kind of things instead of an intruder. So again, we really try to make sure that we are preparing kids, but also drilling as if it were real, because we have to drill like it is real every time. So in case we have that happen, that's what kids will do. And research shows that we have to, what is the terminology I'm looking for, Jeremy? Drill, practice, but you're drilling as if it was always real. Then know too that the drills that we have to have every year, we have to do 5 evacuation drills, 5 lockdown, and 1 severe weather. So it's that's a lot to try to squeeze into the school year. I know it doesn't sound like much, 11, but it does, because you've got testing, you've got just all sorts of different things always going on, but they're important, and we know they're important, and know that we take them very seriously.
Is evacuations like a fire drill, like what I would call a fire drill?
Fire drill, yeah,
Okay.
we call them evacuation. And from an evacuation, then you might have to evacuate all the way to a second location,
Sure.
for example, and that's where you would have a reunification site. So I think that's probably why we call them evacuations, because it might not just be a fire,
Right.
it could be a lot
Weather.
of different things. Yeah. So.
Weather's part of that too.
What has been student reaction to ALICE drill? How's that gone?
I think if you prepare them, we have stories that we read to them ahead of time. That's part of the curriculum. They handle it really well. Kids are so resilient. And if you explain things, why we're doing them, we have reunification spots. So, when we teach them that if we have to just get out of the building, if it's safe, where are we all going to meet? They are excellent at it. I mean, that's what I hear over and over again and what I see.
We've been using Alice for a few years now as well, so for some of our kids, it's just what we do.
Right. To ease the anxiety, you let them know up front.
Well, we will, yep, for the first couple. We do try to do a few that aren't announced, just,
Spontaneous ones.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But we do start out that way where here's what's coming, especially at those younger ages.
Do we still have evacuation buildings we can go to in case of a fire or whatever?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It's part of our reunification
Yeah.
bill, so we do incorporate those in that reunification. So several years ago, when we were first trained in ALICE, I believe that the board was also, maybe not trained, but you were presented the information that came about through ALICE. And I think at that time, everything was pretty new to us. We were pretty anxious ourselves as adults in the district and board members, and just wondering how we roll this out and quell some of the anxiety that's out there. And we continue to think about that, especially with our littles. But we have so many mental health issues throughout our district, and any district anymore, that we really have to give all of it a great deal of thought, and doing the right thing with kids at the right time, and making sure that everybody's aware of what's happening, especially parents and guardians, so that they aren't scared when things happen at home. They hear whistles or drills or see police cars or some of those things. So those are some other things that we really look at. And Amanda will talk about some of that with the reunification here in a few minutes. But one thing to reinforce with the ALICE mnemonic is that, yes, it stands for alert, lockdown, inform, counter, and evacuate, but it does not mean that that's the order of the events. So the order is based on whatever is happening at that given time and what is the best protocol for that adult in that classroom or in the hall or the cafeteria or wherever you are to make an informed decision on what is happening and what you're going to do with the students that are within your responsibility. So that might be to evacuate immediately. It might not be to lock down and wait and see what's going on, especially if somebody's at recess or they're not going to come back into the building to see what's happening. They're going to make sure that there's as much coverage as possible. So keep that in mind, that when you take a look at any of the ALICE training, it is not in that order of events. It's about making an informed decision, the best decision, the safest decision for kids, and carrying out that plan. So that's what each one of the adults in the building would be doing. And kids are trained to listen to whatever that adult has to say. Adults are trained to remain as emotionless as possible so that kids can look to them for direction and to be able to get some assistance there. So. Sure. Everybody in the district, each classroom in the district has a go bag, a go red bag that is a kit included in the go bag. So it includes the crisis manual, it includes the flip chart, and then any tools that a teacher might hope he or she has, they put in that go bag also. So they might have different cords in there, they might have a number of different things that they can keep on their own in their own classroom bags. But every classroom has that bag. That just includes a number of items so that they've got direct reference immediately to rosters from their own rosters, but also rosters from those on either side of their classrooms so that they can help with subs or just help if somebody else happens to need some assistance as well. Vanna over here is doing a nice job. She can pull this off. Anything else in there that you wanted to review?
No, you said the rosters in there.
Yeah, yep. And then I think building principals keep, as well as the Emily Ruperts of the world, but keep a flash drive with all of the information too, especially for schedule changes and, you know, if something happens first quarter versus last quarter, that we're constantly updated. So we do a lot of those things too.
Are those kept secured so that they don't fall into the
Wrong hands.
hands?
They're in those offices, so admin offices or whoever's on those building committees.
And even the manuals, though, you know, if you've got a manual that lists all our protocols and that
Oh, good
protocol
point,
gets
Bill.
into the wrong hands, you know, if somebody knows what our evacuation plan is.
Mhm.
Thinking about
You know, the red bags are available for subs and teachers within those classrooms, and where they hang those or keep those is really up to them, so that they're able to grab and go. But it's within the realm of,
think about what's in there, you know, if there's
Mhm.
confidential information, like if you've got a reunification site identified, you don't want the public to know that. That's really more an internal
Mhm.
protocol that you want to keep secure, so.
yeah, there's a fine line in trying to figure some of those things out. Yeah, certainly.
But we also need our subs to be able to.
Right, be prepared as well, right.
Yeah, and we practice them with the kids now, so the kids know where we're going to go or not go, some of those things too, so. Yeah. So, last but not least, I think you have information on this year's goals.
Yeah, so this year, we actually have not met as a crisis committee yet, as a full committee this fall. So one of the things that Mary Kay and I will be bringing forward, though, is that we hope to have a goal around the reunification process. I think we always try to say that we want to do a drill with reunification, so that will be hopefully one of our goals. It might be nice to try Southview because our reunification site is a middle school. And so that would be nice and close. We require no busing. But those are things we need to talk about with the full committee. We're going to continue practicing the use of the Crisis Go app, which is a way to, instead of having our thumb drive with a roster on it, it's all on our apps that we can keep track of attendance. And saying, okay, I'm here, and that Crisis Go app will actually also show you on a map. They can find you by your app being on. So there's a lot of pluses to that Crisis Go app. We are struggling just a little bit to get it to work consistently in all of our buildings. For example, Southview, a brand-new building, has too much metal in it or something in the walls. I don't totally understand. Todd would be able to explain it to you. But it does cause some problems. Not everybody's app works. It's more the cell phone reception piece. So it doesn't always work until people go outside. So we're trying to still continue to work through some of those little blips, but in some buildings it works very well. So in theory, it is a fantastic app, and it has a lot of great features to it. So we will continue working on that. And then we would like to run another Alice Training Institute here in Marshall. We've actually been approached to host it again this year, which will provide us 1 seat, I believe it was, for free.
I remember some free seats.
Yeah, we'd get some free seats. So, and actually, we were looking at bringing somebody in anyway, so it just worked out really well. So those are the 3 main things that we want to do this year, but continuing as a whole to look at our whole crisis manual and make sure that we are doing what's in the best interest of all of our students and families. Any questions?
Do we have a system in place for kids who are seeing problems with other kids to report anonymously?
Yes, we do.
That's actually through Crisis Go as well. There's a reporting site that's linked to our main page of our website, and then we post that around the schools, but students can go in and there's
Do our
anonymous.
kids know that?
We share it with them, yep. And we
Okay.
get reports throughout the
You know
year.
what I'm saying? You've got a kid who sees another kid, doesn't really want to squeal on him, but there's an issue and I need to let somebody know.
Primarily middle school and high school, but we get reports pretty consistently from that.
That's a good question, Bill. One of the things that has come up recently is that we need to articulate to our kids that it's not about squealing on a student, and of course it's about safety, but it's also about helping the student who has some of these thoughts, and making sure that kids know that we don't want to consequence everyone all the time, that it's about assistance for that child. So if they know and believe and that we follow through in that manner, it'll be more helpful as they see that too.
Yeah. The only reason I bring squealing up is because, they think, well, what are my peers going to say when I say something about this? I'm glad we have that in place and they're aware of that. It's kind of trying to encourage them to use it, really. And you said they're using it, which is good.
Any other questions?
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Our next item is the consent agenda. I'll need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for the vote. That is approved. Next item, discussion items, first review of policies 401 to 405, 416, and 418. Any questions on those?
Sure, there aren't a lot of updates to them, mostly just grammatical things. 416 and 418 are related to drug and alcohol use, and some of those are updated with the new state statute with gummies being legalized in the
sure.
state. So this policy is updated to reflect some of that changes and how we would handle that in the schools.
Next item is a second review of 301 to 306. Are there any questions on that? Moving on, back to school update. Jeremy?
Yeah, just a couple of things I wanted to share this evening. You met the 28 new teachers earlier this evening, but a couple other fun facts about new hires for this fall. I think they're fun facts, but that's my world. We have 2 new administrators as well on staff this fall. We had 33 new non-certified staff members, and we had 17 staff with new positions within the district. So have worked for us previously and were reassigned to something new. Some of the ones, like you met the 2 people who used to work for Service Co-op, but were always in our site. So some of those were kind of odd which category they fall into, but technically they were new with us. So we also had 11 staff who completed their probationary period last year. So we recognized them at our back to school event, celebrated their 10-year year in the district. I want to touch base on enrollment a little bit. It's a little bit early to have accurate count. We just had open houses for the most part today. First day is really tomorrow. We'll get updates daily updates as we start the school year. We find a lot of changes the first couple weeks of school until we get to that 15-day drop period, but our initial numbers are looking up for this fall, so that's encouraging. Workshop week was last week. We had kickoff on Monday, the 29th. Taher hosted a breakfast. They had a spread that was amazing for all of our staff, so it was very much appreciated from Taher. Everyone was at the high school. I had my back to school address, and then we had a keynote address from Kit Welchin, who talked about resiliency and tied it into the power of why. So we did a nice job, a nice entertaining presentation to start the school year. Then we had a variety of start of the year information, training opportunities and such, and some work time for the teachers in the rooms too. So I think we had a really good week last week. I did not get to all the sites today, but I was at a couple of them, and the open houses have gone really well today as well. So it's fun to get kids back in the buildings. Back to school theme this year. We do a theme each year. This year we're talking about the power of why. Thinking about rolling out that new strategic plan, looking at how we focus efforts, really focused on that mission statement and how that ties into the strategic plan. Why do we do what we do? So we had some really good conversations around setting goals and looking at how we roll that out with students and sharing with stakeholders as well. So that has gone well this year. I'm going to spend a lot of time again looking at individual needs and thinking about equitable distribution of resources, how we measure success, and how we look at meeting those individual needs. Also want to share just a little bit of update on operating referendum. That work continues. We've got a variety of community presentations scheduled over the next few weeks, as well as informational articles, brochures, social media posts. That's all going to start going live within the next couple of days. We have a microsite we're setting up that will be linked to our website with all sorts of information for community members that want to know more about that operating referendum. They want to know the why behind that. That site should go live yet this week as well, and then we'll have information that goes out with links to that to help people find it. That vote, again, the election is on November 8th.
Any comments on the new website design, or?
I have not heard a lot of comments on it.
I just noticed it today.
Yeah, we rolled that out right at the end of June, early July is what the time Emily started. We were rolling that, coming out live with that over the summer, but it's been pretty user-friendly from the usage side, so.
Any other questions? Action item, I think this is our only action item, is approve the principal's master agreement. Need a motion.
So moved.
Second. Any questions?
I'd like to thank the committee, that all the negotiations that you do, that's extra work, and to do so in a way that is peaceful. You know, no dissension. I don't hear any ripple effect negatively, which speaks highly for your communication with whomever you're negotiating. I'm not just talking about the principals group, the teachers, every group you deal with, and special thanks also to Dion and the extra work you do with the others as well. I mean,
It goes well when Bill's in charge, so.
I think it's huge. I think the way they're treated is a real plus.
Yep, because some of those
So
can't
thank you.
always be easy, so. I'll call for the vote. That is approved. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Matt.